Peabody on location for disorderly product news, the 8200 block of Summerdale, Chicago, Illinois. The stop sign at the end of the block reads, "Please drive slowly. We love our children." It was on this very same block which I reported yesterday that Pogo, the killer clown, once lived. In the interest of getting things right, in the interest of accuracy, I have come back to this block. Understand, there is no lights, camera, and action in the game I play. When I show up, it is one take and one take only. Fortunately for me, this is an on-site location where Regan Peabody can come back and right his wrongs. It was this house, 8207 Summerdale, in which I said was the lot in which Mr. Gacy once owned a home in which he buried 29 boys in this crawl space and on his property, when in actuality it is this house next door, rebuilt in the 80s after it was torn down in the 70s, where Mr. Gacy had his terrible fun. The house next door is more reminiscent of what Mr. Gacy's house looked like, except there was a circular driveway in the front. That house's backyard was also excavated looking for bones. But this is the house in which, this is a lot in the house that Mr. Gacy lived on. As you can see right now, it is for sale. That's the number you call if you want to own Mr. Gacy's house, or at least the plot of land he lived on. Now understand this, it pains me when I get something wrong. I stay up late at night. When I went live the other night, I talked about Terry versus Ohio. Anybody that saw that FOIA requested footage, the body camera footage of my stop, knows that that was on the spot. I knew all that stuff off the top of my head, right? I didn't take time to Google Terry versus Ohio. I didn't take time to Google cursory searches. I was in a battle with men with bullets and body armor, and all I had was the Constitution to protect me. Constitutional Kevlar is all I had. Now understand this. I do know I made a mistake. But in the interest of always getting things right, I have come back to this spot to find out the truth. So, I have come back here today to tell you it is indeed this house, not that house. Sir, this is the owner of this house right here. Sir, do you have a second? Do you have a second? Are you familiar with that house next to you?
No.
You've never heard about it? You don't know who lived there?
I've been renting here just only a couple years.
You don't know who lived in that house next to you? Really? Would it surprise you? Well, back up, I'll tell you. I saw you yesterday when I was here, and I had mistaken your house for that house, because when you look it up on Google Maps, it shows your house, but it's not actually your house. It's the house next door. They excavated, they tore it down. That lot was once owned by John Wayne Gacy.
Oh, really? That's
where he buried 29 bodies. It was your backyard that was also tore up as they looked for bones.
No shit.
That's the house right there. They tore it down and rebuilt it in the mid-1980s. It was torn down in 1978. But when you look on Google Maps, it says that your house is 8213. But that's actually 8213 over there. No. So you had no idea. No. You don't ever see people walking up and down and...
I have noticed that, but didn't pay really attention. Just very...
Probably more or less around Halloween. Because I wanted to say something to you yesterday because my viewers were like, oh, I wonder who lives there. And I'm like, the guy, he was out in front. I could have probably talked to him, but I didn't want to bother you. And, but yeah, so just so you know, the killer clown, that's where he did his evil deeds right there. The depths of depravity, right there. Thank you, sir. God, you don't hear any strange noises at night or anything like that?
No.
No weird sounds, no moans or howling?
You know what? To tell you the truth, one time when we first moved in,
yeah,
I was sitting in the living room by myself. Everybody was gone. I just felt a weird, over my neck, like by the hairs in the back of my neck just stood up.
Oh my God!
It was a weird feeling.
And you remember that distinctly?
That was kind of.
Well, God bless you, sir.
Anyway, you take care.
Make sure you go to communion this Sunday. So there you have it. The renter of the house next door, his land was excavated, looking for bones of the deceased boys. But it is actually this house. Even though when you look up 8213 Summerdale, it is his house that is shown. Maybe they do that on purpose, maybe not. It is actually this house. This is the lot in which Mr. Gacy lived. This house is rebuilt. The house looked more like this. Gacy's house looked almost exactly like this, except it had a circular driveway in front. I will include details of in the links of these pictures of the site in the description. What I was trying to say is it does me no good to get things wrong. So when I was talking on the live and I was talking about Terry versus Ohio, I was talking in a sense of I wasn't talking in a sense of reasonable suspicion, yet probable cause. Terry versus Ohio deals with reasonable suspicion, not probable cause. Probable cause is a much higher, or not a much higher, it's the next step up of legal thresholds. So when I make mistakes, I will correct them. Understand this: when you get your news from Disorderly Product News, I will do my best to get it right. You can bet your bottom dollar that if I don't, I will get on camera and admit it. I will do my best, and everything I tell you is accurate. And as we came back here today, thank God we did, we got an interview with the neighbor, a man that lives just feet away from where some dozen boys took their last breath. God help this block. Regan Peabody, Disorderly Product News.